Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Do not believe or think that NATO stopped the war against Russia just because they thought that there's too much suffering in Ukraine. That's not even entering their, furthest quarters of their minds. The reason why they are temporarily waiting for a respiro is because they have been losing. Or put it the other way around, they were not succeeding in destroying Russia fast enough, or at all. Remember, they tried economically, politically, militarily, and so on. I have here an article coming from Business Insider. It is from today, April 28th, where I think we find part of the reason, I think the biggest part of the reason why NATO, the United States of America, is negotiating right now. Not mediating, negotiating, because the United States of America is not a mediator between Ukraine and Russia. It is the side of Ukraine and the other side is Russia. Okay, we talked about this in previous videos. So I'm going to show you why NATO, I say the biggest reason why NATO now is eager to talk to Russia. That's the first topic of this video. The second topic, we find out that Poland wants to be the biggest army in Europe, in continental Europe. That means is not going to challenge their boss, which for some time, I think it was the United States of America, but I think it's a fight between the Brits and the Americans. Why? Because we have a foreign minister, Mr. Sikorsky. And Mr. Sikorsky, I think he's not working for the Polish people. I think he works for an foreign agency located across the British Channel. And I'm going to show you how Mr. Sikorsky thinks that if he's married to Miss Anne Applebaum, I think her name is, he can tell the president of Poland that he should have put pressure on Donald Trump. Now, if this is not imbecilic, I don't know what it is. Now, I'm going to show you who is actually trying to arm and train the Ukrainians to fight the Russians. There's a little problem. One day, that war machine that you want to train might change policy and change course from going east, turning to go west. And I'm talking about Great Britain and Ukraine. I have a big map because the Poles want to become the biggest army in Europe, the strongest army in Europe, because they are prepared to fight in the north, east, west, everywhere. I want to show you who are these guys' neighbors, including the Germans. All right, let's start with the first topic, which is NATO. And this is the main reason why NATO now is talking to the Russians. NATO can't ignore the Russian military's faster, more dangerous kill chain. So what they're talking about? Russia adapted from a slow kill chain into a very quick one. It takes within a minute to locate the target, get the coordinates, and send a missile there. Before, it might have taken 1 hour, 2 hours. In that time, the HIMARS would move away, or whatever howitzer was located over there. The point is, and I'm going to read a little bit out of this article, the point is the Russians improved so fast. Remember, NATO is fighting Russia with Ukraine's lives. That's what's going on in Ukraine. The location of the fight is Ukraine. The fighters, the main teams like you say Liverpool, and in Liverpool you have, let's say, Salah, Mohamed Salah. I think they won the Champions League. They are the champions. Good for you. So Salah is Egyptian, but he played for an English club, which is Liverpool. So the same here. The team is NATO. The player Salah, Mohamed Salah, he is Ukrainian, and the other side are the Russians with Russian players. So the location, they're going to play on Wembley, let's put it. Or maybe they're going to play in Egypt. Let's put it nicer, because Mohamed Salah is a football player from Egypt. Very good one. I like him very much. So What's going on here? Russia's artillery strikes were bizarrely ineffective in the early stages of the war, but that's changed. Analysts say several major overhauls have helped Russia make its kill chain faster, more precise. NATO would have to learn quickly, will have to in the future, to prepare for a more experienced and refined Russian artillery complex. Russia's kill chain, or how quickly the army moves from finding a target to firing on it, is now far more responsive and precise than it was at the start of the war in Ukraine. And that is within a minute. Alright? So then, NATO is noticing. That is one of the reasons NATO is afraid to bring its troops. It's going to increase the number, but in NATO, I think they're inefficient. That's a personal assessment of what's going on over there. So the reason why is because they can't overpower them. That's what it is. The Russians are good. And we're going to find out something else. And it's fantastic. Right here, this is the third paragraph. Russia is outpacing the West in artillery production, raising the prospect that NATO must deter an adversary with more battlefield firepower and the fleets of reconnaissance drones that guide it. What does it tell you? The Russians are more productive than the capitalists. Oh, you can say, well, the Russians have now a war economy. I think these guys have the money, they have the means, they have everything they want. Rheinmetall, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, these guys are real. I mean, after all, 70% of the weapons sold on the world market come from the Americans, not from the Russians. So something is going on here. I think the Russians outpace them in production and in efficiency. All right, that's the first point. So the NATO is getting ready to get other people ready, in this case the Poles and the Ukrainians, to fight the same guys for their benefits. Remember, Liverpool, Mohammed Salah, the location now is in Ukraine. Tomorrow in Ukraine, which is, let's say, Egypt. Tomorrow, the player can be, what's his name, in Liverpool? What the hell is his name? Nunez. And he is from, how do you call that in South America? Jesus Christ, with Montevideo, the capital. Jesus Christ, man, what's the name? With N? What the hell is the name? Anyway, I will remember. You know, it's what's his name played for it? The Meow is here. Suarez played for the same team. I like Suarez very much. Anyway, so it's going to be a different location, different people fighting from the same interest or the same team, Liverpool. So we have the Poles now getting ready for being activated. Be careful, I said it. Now, Telegraph, read the title. Poland said its army will soon be the strongest in Europe. What is its plan, and is it possible? Hey, this article is 2 years old. Right there. 2 years ago. Right there. They were getting ready. All right, what the plan is, I'm going to tell you. Next. Poland unveils plan to become a major military power. Major. This is right here from yesterday, April 27th, 2025. Poland has unveiled a new national plan that ensures it has a stronger army than any of its neighbors. Oh la la! Any of its neighbors. Now, this is the map of Europe. This is Poland, you see. Neighbor, Ukraine, Belarus has nuclear weapons deployed by the Russians. Germany. So, what's going on over here? Neighbors. All right, and how far you go? This is, remember, Poland has a lot of territorial demands, and some people say it's not true. I urge them to read some history regarding that issue. I'm going to go back to that map as well. All right, there's nothing wrong to have a strong army whatsoever. I like strong armies, but what do you give in return? Our army, and I'm quoting, must be able to repel any threat, any. Like Russia, like United States of America, Great Britain. Donald Tusk, the Prime Minister, said on Friday that he announced the Piast Doctrine, named after the country's founding dynasty. Mr. Tusk said the plan would have three central aims: for Poland to have the strongest army in the region, the strongest economy in the region, and the strong position in the European Union. Nothing wrong with that. Next one. Polish Prime Minister wants strongest army. And again, we have here, right? And why do we have here? We will have the strongest army in the region, of course, which is nothing wrong with that. But they're going to tell you where. We will be the strongest army in the region. Don't say it's impossible. Yes, our army must be able to overcome any threat from the east, west, south. It doesn't matter. So let's see who these guys could be, man. So Poland, right? Boom, boom. It said east, that's Belarus and Ukraine. Then it's in the south, Slovakia, Czech Republic, and maybe Hungary. And then we got Deutschland über niemals. So, should these guys be concerned? I would be very much concerned. These guys should not be. They have nuclear weapons. They can fuck them up just like this. Will they use them? Don't test the Belarusians. All right. In Ukraine, I don't know what's going to happen over there. Is it concerning? Well, it's that doctrine. I can't remember its name. It is you can't arm yourself at the expense of the neighboring country. That means if I get an arm myself, people around me is going to say, why are you arming yourself like that, buddy? You have any thoughts about that I'm starting arming? That was one, I think it's from 1970. It was the Montreux, Switzerland doctrine or something, if I remember correctly. Whereas you can't arm yourself, you have to look at the geopolitics around you and the spheres of influence, basically. You can't do it, you scare the people around, you know. But the Poles don't give a shit. Why? I would like you to look for an answer in Poland's history, starting in 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, and that's about it, maybe up to 1700s. Including the fact, and I'm going to show you, during the First World War, Poland had a territory that was going right here, had a border with Romania. So they are dreaming when they were in the Lithuanian Commonwealth and Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, the Commonwealth of these two countries was like this. You see where my cursor is? This is how it went. Let me just make sure I'm going the right way. Going like this, like this, like this. I can't remember if Kiev was part of it, but they were going this and right here. They had all this, they're theirs right there, all that. So do you think that these guys are not dreaming of that? If you think no, I don't think so. They want to be the strongest, just to deter others. Well, let me show you who is in charge or wants to be in charge of Ukraine. And that is Great Britain. It's not the United States of America. And another reason why it's not the US is because Zelensky could have been out for a long time if really Trump had the power. He could have been removed and named another baboon. I know, Michal, who would follow Trump's order, but they don't. And the Brits, in their way of using others to fight for themselves, or fight in coalitions. This is, something that happened after it collapsed after the Second World War, after it got bankrupt, lost its colonies, empire collapsed, and is going to become a Mbappe country. So this is what the UK plans are now for Ukraine. Not to bring troops over there, just to train the Ukrainians to be the strongest army as well. Remember, you have to make sure that the guys that you're training are very loyal to you, because the next day you create a Frankenstein that could turn around towards you. But guess what? Great Britain, if you look over the map, and I will show you the map, doesn't care about that. Why? Because Frankenstein can't really swim. So here we have, you see Ukraine? That's Ukraine. Where is it? Right here. right? And this is their island right here. So Frankenstein from here could be activated if these guys become strong, or these guys become strong, or these guys become strong. They will be these guys' Frankenstein. They will start from here and end wherever they will dictate. And it's going to be hard to cross the French channel. I'm sorry, the English channel. All right, let's see. UK plans for Ukraine troops deployment revealed, the Telegraph. So this baboon right here says he's not going to do that. UK forces would help rebuild Kiev's army, according to a letter cited by the newspaper. British troops would keep rebuild the Ukrainian armed forces under a potential deployment to the countries following a ceasefire with Russia. UK Defense Secretary has said the UK and France have led discussions, a coalition of the willing that collapsed, and they do like this. They want to do like this. In it, the British Defense Chief is said to have written that we expect those objectives to focus on rebuilding a modern and capable armed forces of Ukraine rather than delivering combat operations. Fantastic. Regenerate an armed forces capable of deterring further Russian aggression. But what if these guys right here decide that they don't want that? They don't like you, let's say, tomorrow. What are you going to do? The only answer to that is they won't. The Brits are so certain that the Ukrainians will not look at who's behind their Frankenstein creation that they are still there. Well, the Brits' doctrine in Europe is always have a weak power in Europe. They should be fighting all the time, maneuvering. Remember, just look at Napoleon. It was not that Napoleon was worse than they were. After all, Napoleon was one of them, was an emperor. Oh, there was a problem. From a commoner, he became an emperor. And he attacked their balance, their dynasties. That was the big problem. And Napoleon became too strong. You can't have that. Then you got Germany in the Second World War. And whomever is strong. Right now, Russia threatens to come stronger and stronger with Germany. And Germany is in a recession, is it? All right, and that gets me to this, I would say, an MI6 agent. I have no evidence, but I'm not an idiot either. Mr. Sikorski, the foreign minister of Poland. Polish foreign minister disappointed that country's president did not influence Trump to pressure Russia. Now you understand what this guy is saying? This guy, obviously, look at his bio and find out what he did in Great Britain, okay? After he defected to Great Britain in, 1980 something. So this gentleman right here, married with a Stein Applebaum, okay? So this, and wrote for some newspapers and so on. You can make shit up. And he just happened to be now the foreign minister dealing with Poland's foreign policy. So he thinks that his Polish president, whom he doesn't like, not Tusk, the prime minister, who he likes. No, they're on the same team with the Polish president, which is Mr. Duda. So what is he doing? He's disappointed that the Poles did not influence Trump to pressure Russia. Now, United States of America and Russia are not at the caliber of Poland. How can you pressure them? But he's just talking. Why? Because he's got activated to talk. You understand that Polish, with its greatest army, if he doesn't have nuclear weapon, is going to be a second class power. Good for them. They should arm themselves how much they want. Get strong economically on all that. Good. But the problem is the way I see things happening. The Poles, and some people might not like what I say, but I don't give a shit, have a lot of historical frustration. Remember, Poland was not a country, was disintegrated since, I think, 1794, until it was put together after the First World War. Poland was not a country. Zero. It was put together. From where exactly? Who put it together? And then Stalin gave the Poles some territories. From whom, you might ask? But Poland got some territory taken out and given to Ukraine. Poland has a lot of territorial demands. And as the way I know the Poles, with the Poles, they're not going to lay down and say, please give us that. No, we're going to have the strongest army. Just to know, in case the neighbors want something from us. I think it's the other way around. They will want something from them. Wait, that's going to happen, I would say, in about 10 years. It depends how fast they are getting their military. In about 10 years, they already demanded the Germans pay $1.3 trillion as reparations for the Second World War. The Germans said, we already paid you in 1960s and 1970s. Shush, beat it. And these guys again said, we're going to go to the International Criminal Court or whatever. We're going to sue you. We're going to go to the United Nations. They're serious about it. So if you can't take it legally, you're going to take it how? Like that. Mark my words. Poland, if it's going to think is strong enough, is going to start demanding. You don't like it? We'll see. We'll see who's going to allow them to do that. And you know who that would be? The same guys who are training Ukraine or want to train Ukraine, if they will be still alive to be allowed to live by then. By whom? Maybe they make a mistake and someone's going to fuck them up. Who knows? I don't wish that to happen, but I wish Great Britain is, what it used to be. Great Britain. Britannia. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.